I'm Dr. Drake Patrick Mirembe, a senior consultant and chief executive officer at 8Tech Concepts, also a lecturer at the College of Computer and Information Sciences at Makerere University. I'm here to share my journey and the journey of the firm we co-founded, that is 8Tech Concepts. My journey as a person starts way back in the humble district of Jojo, where I was raised. My father is a retired civil servant. My mother is also a retired civil servant. I went to Chakta Primary School. Then I went to Nyakasura School, where I did my O-level. And then also went to St. Louis College Chegobi, where I did my A-level. And finally, I got a government scholarship to go and study at Makerere University, where I took computer science, mathematics, and chemistry. People ask me, how did you do all this hard stuff? It is very interesting that actually at the time when we did computing science, it was called a flat course. And people wanted us to do electric engineering. So in my year one, I actually did both computer science and electric engineering, which I dropped off because electric engineering was supposed to be self-sponsorship. So I did for one semester and I continued with my computer science, math, and chemistry. I so privileged that after my bachelor's degree, I was retained at the university to serve as a teaching assistant. And a privilege for sure I contribute to Professor Mariamureba, who was able to identify my talent and skills. As a matter of fact, I started teaching in the university before I even graduated. There was a program called the End User Training Program. So when I was a second year student, the university was looking for someone who could teach lecturers, staff, basic computing skills, like how to use a computer to type and so on. And because I was a little bit, I can't call it smart, but I had worked harder than my colleagues, I was given a privilege to, in the evenings, to actually teach lecturers and teachers and staff at Makerere University, where I was still an undergraduate student. So when I finished my undergraduate, I was retained by the university. First as a Cisco instructor, that's short courses, and secondly, I was given an appointment as a teaching assistant. So through the project of Professor Mariamureba, which was called NUFIC 1, I was given a scholarship to go to the Netherlands and do a master's. I did a master's in digital security. That's my focus. And the minor was organizational management. And then when I came back with my master's, that's where the beautiful journey begins, particularly for 8Tech. So I had a privilege of knowing Ken Kalisa, I think the CEO of NBS. He was a colleague, he was doing his PhD in the Netherlands, and I was doing my master's, we did very well. So when I came back, and I had these very top-end skills, I wanted a place to practice my skills. So Ken introduced me to Bankshare Technologies, which is headed by Mohammed K. Kalisa, and I worked there as a junior consultant. And actually that was the birth of my career. So I can tell you I have actually run a dual career. I've been in academia and in practice in the industry all my life. Credit to really the people who really looked out for me. Ken is very critical. Mohammed Kalisa was key. And a gentleman called Nasser Tege of Global IT was very key in nurturing me as a consultant. Around 2006, in this country there was an explosion of the demand for websites. Also, it's a moment when people are talking about IT. A lot of internet cafes were running, a lot of small training centers were running. So we were trying to figure out how can we contribute to national development using these skills. So 8Tech was founded. 8Tech was founded on two things. Number one, we realized that earlier on, that for any nation to develop or any community, there has to be a deliberate effort in utilizing technology. And we must do it strategically. That means we must go to development of technology, we must contribute to human capital. So 8Tech was founded originally in 2006 and formally registered in 2007, incorporated as a company, to serve Preliminarily, we say that our focus and mission is to innovate for the future generation, okay? With the main purpose of contributing towards social and economic development through the development and application of technologies in our context. iTech is co-founded by myself, the Professor Judy Rulega, who is the Vice Chancellor of Kuba University. We have CPA Baker Sechito as partners, and we have a number of other beneficiaries in that order, but those are the three major ones. I would like to thank them in a special way, because trust me, one of the things I've come to know is that when you're presenting an organization or doing an organization, you need to bring your complementary skills. I can say I'm the small one, the other guys are the bigger one, because I just bring the vision and what they do. But I also thank colleagues at iTech who do the amazing work that they do every day. Trust me, we who sit on the top of this pillar, we are like a general. A good strong general, you have the foot soldiers on down doing the amazing work they're doing. So my colleagues all over the place, actually at iTech we have about 30 employees or staff who work with us on a monthly basis. That's how we are in terms of organization. I have to remind you that when I returned back from my master's, I had a privilege, I would have remained in the Netherlands to work with Google, Microsoft. It's a decision I had to make. Some colleagues actually did return, but I had the choice to come back and say, no, we need a contribution to make to our country. And the actual way that there's nobody who could develop this country with us. So iTech, today we stand, what are key areas of service? Our key areas is software and software development and AI. That's an area we're working in. We're putting a number of products. We can move this with a number of our products. For example, we have a national seed tracing and tracking system. This product is being used in 6 African countries, including Uganda. We have what we call the Reform Information Management System, a product that's being used in about 43 African countries, serving 170 universities across the continent. We have the ICT for Farmers product, which we've worked with UCC to develop. This is helping farmers to access e-extension services, profile farmers, make decisions around enterprise selection. For example, if you want to select an enterprise, how do we better make a right decision which farming enterprise you need to go to? We have another very innovative product, which to me is very, very personal. It's a product around persons with disability. Something I need to just bring back to you a little bit on this. You said, who is Drake really? Well, Drake is married. I am married to my dear wife, Martha Obarachito. We have 4 kids. And one of our firstborn, Alvin Drake Tiendo, suffers from cerebral palsy. And over the years, we struggled to find support services in this country. Actually, we've gone to every place to try to find the right support. The only place we've not been is a shrine, but we've gone. And that's the inspiration when you see me talk about ICT for persons with disability. It's really a passionate thing to me. So the question is, how can we use technology to allow persons with disabilities to have better potential in life? If you do around, there are about 8 revolutionary technologies that were envisioned at the time, and up to today, by the way, that are supposed to transform how humans live and work. Among them is what we're talking about, the 4 AI technologies, including AI, virtual reality, we're talking about edge computing, cloud computing, or so. iTech was envisioned as a futuristic organization, looking at the 8 groundbreaking technologies that were seen at the time that they transform human capacities and potentials. So, as an organization, we are founded on the principles that we are futuristic, that we work on those technologies to ensure. That's why AI, for example, everybody talking about AI. Mind you, if you're smart, AI will not replace you. But if you're not smart enough, AI will quickly replace you. So, fast forward. So, in terms of iTech, one of the things we need to appreciate the work we do as an organization, that beside technologies that we have built, we're extensively working on sustainable organizational development. So, areas of advisory services in ICT, I can report to you comfortably. We've been very, as a person, as an individual, we've served this government in very many ways. I have had a chance to work with Uganda Police, supporting them. I've had a chance to work with the Ministry of Agriculture, supporting them, Ministry of Education. When you talk about, for example, the Digital Education Agenda Strategy, we're part of it. We talk about the NISIP, the National Innovation ICT Program. I worked with the former PS and his team to become that very nice program. We've been, when you look at the whole innovation ecosystem in the ICT sector, I can walk in Kanjucha Street and they can trust me that nearly everybody running a company there knows me because we've been part of that foundation. In the innovation space, I was the founding manager for the Microsoft Innovation Center in Uganda, which was housed in Mackay University. And that innovation center was the very first innovation center Microsoft set up in Sub-Saharan Africa. And it's actually laid the foundation for the conversation we have today about ICT innovation space. I was also a founding head for the Center for Innovation and Professional Skills Development in Mackay University, which really had the privilege to co-found with the support of Professor Mariam. Credit to him and his vision of leadership. In that center, it really shaped the current ICT ecosystem today. At one point, we were training over 7,000 people every year in digital skillings, but also in skills for employability. So it's really that kind of work that we're doing that shaped the future of what we're running in IT. So I want to bring you to really, when you talk about IT tech, or what we call ourselves IT technologies. So IT tech, we exist with a strong belief that every human being is born with a seed of greatness. Each one of us. And I can bring it this way. No one owes you a right or a favor for your potential. You have to earn it. So we note as an organization that how do we make sure people can earn their full potential in life? One, we provide innovations, technologies, and services. So all you need to be a better person is to have the right tools, the higher ecosystem around you to be able to achieve your full potential in life. That's what IT Tech do. So in IT Tech, we run very numerous programs and IT learning. For example, we look at what we call human performance enhancement training programs. Right now we have training programs in AI. How do you use AI to become more effective? How do, as organizations, do you have a strategy of adopting AI? AI can be a monster. It is a double-edged sword. If you don't use it right, that's the wrong way. Use it right, you'll be 7 steps ahead of your competition. So we need to think about AI. We're talking about cybersecurity. Today, everything we're running to consume is services. How prepared are we as individuals, as organizations, to ensure that our systems, our ecosystems are actually secure? So as iTech, we provide services right from cybersecurity audits that we do things like penetration testing, cybersecurity strategies, human capacity development, on how you can actually add cybersecurity awareness. On the other part that we do very well is the issue of digital skilling and digital literacy. We believe, and I speak this with authority, the study done by the World Bank and ITU shows that a 10% increase in internet access contributes to a 1% increase in GDP. Just imagine. So with that mindset, we've been able to work with a number of partners, particularly UCC, Uganda Communication Commission, and the Universal Access Fund. They have been very good partners. We've trained thousands and thousands of Ugandans. I think about 10,000, over 10,000 Ugandans, 10 or 20,000 in direct digital literacy, and over, I think, 100,000 in direct. We have ICT champions in every district in this country. That's the footprint we've been able to put. And I speak as maybe from a perspective as an entrepreneur and someone who starts an organization. A few things. In Uganda, we have opportunities, but it's a number of challenges. Challenge number one, I look at our talent and human resource management. Most of our youth coming out of educational system, they are not really oriented to the modern organization. Gone are the days where the organization, you set up a job for an accountant. So you're expecting to work in numbers. If you come here, we don't need accountants. We need a multi-skilled individual. You must know how to use a computer. You must be able to do data analysis. You must be able to do research, because that's exactly what we do. But our students and people coming from the education system are monolithic. My father told me when he left university and he got a job in government, two things happened. They gave him a driver, they gave him a house, and they gave him a secretary. Today, our economy and the ecosystem requires you to have how to use a computer. They give you a laptop. They will ask you if you're driving a permit, they give you a car. Right? So one of the challenges we face is we don't really have the right skill set and the mindset of people who are with. Number two, in the work that we do, is really the acceptance of the product we do. There's a lot of, can I say, stereotyping on appreciation of local products. When you go to a government organization or a big organization and they're saying, I'm building a software system, and a company from India is coming, they will say, oh, we trust the Indian more, or the Chinese more, or the European more than the Ugandan. So those are some of the real systematic challenges. And then, of course, the other challenge really we have is we need our ecosystem in terms of policy. We need to support local entrepreneurs better. I give you an example. To qualify for a tax breaks, okay, you need a very high investment. They are telling, I think it's about $5 million or $5 or $10 million. Now, me who's starting a small company, who's aiming to build the middle class of this economy, by the time I reach the $5 million to benefit, it is really an outreach. So I think one of the challenges that our tasks, our incentive scheme in terms of tax management, we need to have deliberate effort on how do we motivate, how do we support small enterprises that are indigenous, okay? Because a lot of these benefits exist largely, you must have a large capital. So I don't need a large capital. I have my head, I need my ecosystem. So why can we be supported? So for me, those are some of the systematic challenges that we face.
Tuliko ground, Plascon, paint and win. Yes, yeah, Plascon, paint and win. Tuliko ground, Chicho, buy paint worth 100K. Get a scratch card, SMS the code to 7197. Stand a chance to win instant airtime, 1 million shillings bully day there, or a share of a 3 million shillings jackpot each week. What do you want the brand new Podas, tuk-tuks, and so much more. Catch the paint and win action every Monday on Bukede One, NBS, and Sanyuka TV. Plascon, color your world.
One of the challenges I actually faced, and which motivated the formation of this one, when you go to teach, lawyers, you need to have a practicing license. You go to court, doctors, you must have a hospital, because you want a theoretical lecturer to teach a doctor to operate on you? No, I'm a computer scientist, right? You need a place to practice. So I think one of the challenges that I think lecturers don't have, or in our design of our ecosystem, we don't fully appreciate the need of having time to appreciate lecturers to have industry practice. Sometime back, I happened to have made a contribution to the University Visitation Committee of Region in the area, where they asked staff and other stakeholders to make a contribution. Actually, my contribution was very simple. I said that if you want lecturers who are productive and impactful to train people, you could create at least 5 to 10% of their time to practice in the industry. I know in the university manual we have what you call a community outreach. So the time I work here, I normally work in the evenings or when on the weekends when I have the breaks, because I have to carry my full load as a university lecturer. But it would be nice if the university puts a policy that requires lecturers, to fully, because if I'm a computer scientist and I'm teaching students build software, have I built software? If I'm telling you this is how the industry looks like, have I been in that industry? Or are we managing the industry? So, so one of the challenges is really that we need, as lecturers, we need to build the industry experience, to be able to pass that experience back to the learners that we support. Beautiful story, I can tell you. One, HTech, we are here we are saying we want to be a global corporation. And we are not just saying it, we are working towards it. We have just launched our strategic plan. We are starting an AI lab in HTech and the drone technology. And I want to give you an idea as a support for the future of HTech. Elon Musk is worth $260 billion. Do you know how he makes his money? It's in technology companies. So if you look at the richest list of billionaires, they are all in technology firms. The only competitiveness as a country that we can stand and leapfrog many is technology. So HTech, we are saying, we are trying to write the rules. We don't just promote technology access and usage. We want to go to the hardcore of technologies, building sustainable technologies. And the HTech, one is that we want by 2030, at least about 30-40% of the homes in this country, Ugandans, should be able to consuming a technology that has HTech IP in it. We are working. Currently, we are operating in terms of our product presence. One product is in about 48 African countries, which is consumed by one client. And we are now working with seed tracing and tracking systems. We have it in 5 other countries, and we're working towards that. So our vision is we should build cutting-edge technologies that make us as a country competitive. But also, and I want to emphasize this point, my brother, is take an example of Ukraine. Our desire to build technologies locally is derived by the need to insulate ourselves as a matter of national security and sovereignty. If we cannot build capacity locally to build technologies that we need to survive, we cannot have independence as a country. And that is derived from opportunities lost. If you had Vice President Harris talks about what you call an opportunity economy. Now, in Uganda, if they disregard the statistics of current census, which are still contested, if I go with the past, which was a little bit more refined at the time, we knew that at least 12.4% of Ugandans are persons with disabilities, right? If you translate that one, it will come to anywhere about 6 to 7 million Ugandans. Now, a person with disability, now I tell you as a parent, someone has worked in the journey for the last 16 years with a child who is disabled. You will, my simple computation, right, with the basic sustain of life, if you're going to sustain that life to about 50 years, you would not need to spend less than 160 million shillings. Feeding, healthcare, and so on. Now, it means if you have a person with a disability who is not equipped to be economically engaged so that he can have independent lifestyle, the struggle is these people will not fulfill their full potential life. So what are we saying? We are saying that we can use technology to harvest demographic dividends, number one. Can we develop assistive technologies, okay, that enable persons with disability to be gainfully employed in a digital economy? I give an example. There's a software, a system called Orbit. It allows the blind people to be able to interact with me and you as if they are normal. But that technology costs you about an average, each piece costs about $1,000. How many people can afford $1,000? So if you work to lower down that cost, it means we can build that technology at affordable cost. Maybe at $200 or $300. Make it available. So if you make it available, the millions of persons with disability who are blind, they can potentially start being effective. Talk about the youth. We are grappling with the challenge of youth unemployment. And my brother, we cannot create enough jobs in our country until we start solving problems that are beyond Uganda. But if I build a software now, like the software we have here is running in Mali, it was built here by Ugandans. We had to teach our developers to learn how to write things in French. They never used to speak French. We have a software running in Niger, of all countries, Mali, Niger, a technology that is built in Uganda. Now, when we go there and sell a product, we are bringing money in the Ugandan economy. We are making these Ugandan software developers get jobs. And that is our strategy, and that should be our country. So when you talk about harvesting demographic dividends, from a tech perspective, we are saying, how do we position technology innovations so that we can be able to tap into the resources we have? My experience, I think in Uganda that I recall to the issue of funding research and innovation. And on this one, I want to appreciate His Excellency the President and the leadership of Mama in the ministry in terms of putting money in the Research and Innovation Fund, but what they're doing at University. And we also have because Africa as a whole, we are producing about less than 3% of the global research output. And when you study, in this country we have, for the last time I was looking at the statistics, I think we have less than 4,000 PhD holders. That is too low. You get it? Now, when you talk about how do people take our ideas, it starts from the issue of research. A lot of research that is being done in this country is actually donor funded. But donors have their own agenda. So if I'm doing a research, maybe collaboratively, maybe with the University of in the Netherlands, sometimes the IP is lost through this kind of collaborative work. So for us to stand out, we must fund research strategically. And the models of innovation management must change. I'm a person who doesn't believe that my experience when I worked through the innovation ecosystem, I note that most of the people who are innovating are young people. They have very brilliant ideas, but they need the gurus, the dinosaurs, to come and guide them to generate those products. So we need to create innovation parks that are linked to research. And I want to give you my very simple story to farm that one. As a mentor, when I was still running Microsoft Innovation Center, I had students who developed an application called Matipapa. That team, the technology was, how do you test malaria without drawing blood? It sounds amazing. So the idea was, you can put red light here, put a sensor, because of different absorption rates, we can be able to tell whether you have malaria or not. Akin of how X-ray works. We were excited. As a matter of fact, though that team went and won a global award from Microsoft, they won $50,000, they became celebrities. But along the way, when he was trying to study, he came across a professor in Cambridge who had spent 15 years with the now PhD holders trying to solve the same problem. And the gentleman said, "You guys, are you sure you cracked this itch?" Said, yeah. Then he took me a lot into cell molecular biology, the things that are supposed to be done. We realized we were not doing enough research. We are doing emotional research. So what we need to do with our innovations, number one, we need to follow innovations in a systematic way. Currently, we are lacking well-defined ecosystems to actually nurture groundbreaking innovations. My colleagues in academia, we need to move from being book smart to street smart. I think we need to make an effort to acquire significant industrial experience. I'm certain the students I've taught and those that have gone by hands, they can testify that my mode of teaching and learning is not really that I read a book for you. I speak from my heart what I know. And right from the hardest stuff, I taught like computational theory and the automata and complexity. I speak from my heart and use the application scenarios to explain to you why I'm doing what you're doing. To the student that is today examples of engineering. Actually, all my students, even if you go today, my students, I'm doing right now, I'm doing a course on mobile applications of development. My students, I teach them theory and practice. And at least 50% of the practical engagement, I'm using industry practitioners. Software engineers who come from the industry, they come and actually teach my students. They come, I take them to these places to make sure they hear, and this is the difference between what India is doing well. Chile, Estonia, South Korea, because these are countries where technology is actually we are modeling around it. So we must make sure that as lecturers try to infuse in a lot of industrial practice to reshape the mind so that our learners, because our education system is training people not to think, but to make great. And I'm proud of the change the government is making with a new curriculum. In India, kids at year 12, they are programming. You get it? At what stage are we teaching our children? You see, our ICT, I think our ICT curriculum in O-level and A-level, it is still basics, Microsoft Word and Excel. At that moment, we need to be having someone who can write code, who can actually build a drone, okay? So I like this program by, I think it's called Young Engineers, but this gentleman was working in Red Pepper. I need to remember him. You see the thing he's doing, it's really amazing that young people able to build and such kind of interventions that we need. So in our curriculum, if there's anything we wanted to see more, we need to introduce core computing science and technology skills at lower levels of the curriculum. So by the time someone finishes like S4, someone can actually write code and enter the industry and actually be productive. I would like to, particularly especially with the government of Uganda, you know, there are things, we have contradictions as a country. There's no doubt about it. But when my travels have taught me to be appreciative of the little things that we do, the peace that we hold is not something that we take for granted. I know we all have challenges in terms of we have food on the table, we have jobs, but there are small things that are here we should be grateful for. So at the personal level, I like to thank the government for the opportunity, the platform that we have, that we are able to even think about innovation. We are able to think about the future because there are people dealing with situations that because of the failure of the state to guarantee the basics. UPC for the work you've done, thank you very much, because for sure, a young boy from Chenjojo many years ago, I came on a bus in Kampala, and I'm here given a platform to speak to the whole nation about the journey of work. And hopefully that UBC continue the work you're doing, you educate, you empower, you inspire this country to development and progress. EdTech, we are currently housed at EdTech House in Tugowa, Tinda, and but sooner or later we are shifting to our towers. So we have a new location coming up in Kasanga, Tinangabo. Next year, certainly we'll be there to come and launch our programs. My information, definitely you can check on me, what I do on drakemirembe.org, that's my personal website. I'm a phone number. And many of the things I did tell you about is, one, I'm a Rotarian. So my Rotary Club is Kasangati, and I'm proud of all those amazing Rotarians for the work that they continue to do to bring peace, hope to the least privilege in this world. I'm a born-again Christian, and I like to give the honor to my pastor, Pastor Isaac Chiwewesi, IKK. I would like to put the honor. I will not be here if certain people didn't do a surprise in this world. My father, Dr. George Bagosa Moti, who is a bit old now, but I'm proud because he stand and showed up his wisdom and sacrifice. And my mother, Soskofia Jagwe. But more importantly, you would not have even looked for me, by the way, or have this conversation if my dear wife, Martha Opnachito, wasn't in this picture. She's an amazing woman, and every single day I wake up, I'm grateful that that woman is in my life. My contact is 0776 94 43 43. You can have a conversation about a lot of things.